Okay, here we go. Mile with Mark. That's not a mile. Not this. It's story time. Anybody that knows me knows I can tell a story. Unfortunately, because of that accident last week, I banged my wrist up, and I had it was just a mild grade 1 sprain, and I had it injected, and I raced Saturday at Saratoga. I was supposed to give it 72 hours. In my infinite wisdom, I gave it 24. And by the time the race I went there to drive came up, it hurt so much I wanted to throw up. So I'm out of action a week again. I just got to let it actually came. It blew up, and I was a little worried because they did the tendons and it blew up, and I thought I might have ruptured something, and I did not. They ultrasounded it. I just overworked it too soon, so I had to take a few days off, and it's not the end of the world. I got very lucky. Yeah, it feels really good. So I'm going to go back to work this week, Wednesday. It's cleared to, as long as I put a little weight on it today and as long as it stays good. So anyways, very fortunate. So this week I'm going to do a different one. I think it's going to be cool. I don't know. Tell me if you like it. This one's kind of special, near and dear to my heart. This is, I'm going to do a little bit of a homage to my Uncle Rabbit. He passed away last week. And this is a story. This is a story about it's a horse race, but it's more than a horse race because it was such a family thing. And this is the 2006 Little Brown Jug. And when I got to drive in that race, it was so exciting because I was just a kid, and we used to get days off school to my dad, and we all go to the simulcast because you couldn't get the feed to watch it like you can nowadays. You can watch it everywhere. You had to go to the racetrack, so we all went in town and watch it, and then to have a drive. When I got a drive in the Jug, everybody came up, and we rented a van, and I drove in the van down there, and the whole crew of us, and from PEI, and it was pretty crazy. I got in the first elimination, drew the outside, and well, if you're watching this right now, you probably are like, well, I was having a good year, and I drew the rail, and I had the favorite in the Little Brown Jug, right? That is not how the day shook out at all. I had the 7-hole in the elimination, and back then you had to win twice or it was a race off. It's not like today where you can just kind of, if you get beaten, you limb. Oh well, you maybe even have a better spot. No, you was all or nothing, and going into that race, Armbro Deuce, Blair Burgess, George Brennan absolutely destroyed everybody in 2 heats in the Confederation Cup at Flamborough. And the only horse that looked like could even come close to him, like it wasn't even a fair fight, was Jeremy's Jet. And they happened to draw in those last heat, so I missed both of those horses who, at that, my horse couldn't beat those horses, not then. And we missed them, and they drew in together. And for some reason, Tony Morgan, I guess, thought George Brennan was going to sit in the 2-hole, which was great to watch for me after already winning my elimination. And it was almost surreal because I remember before the elimination, my elimination, I had the outside, and my dad was there with a press pass on in the paddock. And he says, well, what do you think? And I said, well, you got to win. So I said, he struggles in the turns at Mohawk. But Jimmy Tactor warmed him up, and he told me, he says, Mark, he's in and out of the turns so fast, I'm going to take the big head pull off him. He's running out too much in the straightaways, and we might race him barefoot, which was, all this is foreign to me. I'm thinking, geez, he doesn't get around the turns at Mohawk, and now we're going to take everything off him for Delaware, Ohio, a half-mile track. He's in and out, he's running out. You can't make any speed with him. I'm like, okay, this is why Jimmy's in the Hall of Fame. But I said, it makes sense to me now, but as a kid, it didn't. And I was just worried he wouldn't get through the turns if he'd run in too much. And I said to Dad, I'm going to take a big shot off the car, and hopefully I get there. And I don't know if he's going to get through the turns. I said, I remember he was leaving. I said, well, either see you in the winner's circle or I'll see you in the beer tent in about 25 minutes. and that's the way that shook out. So we went on a limb, and Cactus Creek won the second limb for Herb Miller, and Mike LaChance drove him. And then come the third heat with the two best horses, and it was incredible. They won a half and 52 in a piece. They parked each other, and Texas Roadhouse got up and beat George Brennan right at the wire with Armbro Deuce, and then he's even more advantageous because they were in the third heat, so they got to come right back in like 35 minutes. My horse was in the first heat and kind of got it his own way and won, and I drew the rail. But I still had to deal with Armbro Deuce. He's a great horse. And he had the 4-hole and coming right back, and I was like, he was so fast off the car. And I'm like, I think he looped me in one stride, but I wanted to cut it, obviously. And, as you'll see in the race, I took George looped me right off the car, and I took a peek at him coming out of the first turn. He just pedaled down and 26 flat. It is what it is. And we set up into the 2-hole there, and I remember thinking as we get right around here in front of the grandstand, it was like, well, I hope I'm going to be the first guy to ever win out of the 2-hole, because not too many people get out of the 2-hole in Delaware. And it just worked out. The fractions were quick. Dunebag made a break going into the second turn, kind of scattered people a little bit. And I just didn't, at that time, going down into the 3/4, it was just like, just don't move and give Cactus Creek room. Armbro Deuce has got to be fatiguing. So I'm just sitting there just waiting to pull the trigger. And never in my whole life was I ever so sure I was going to win a race from the 5/8 on. It was just a matter of when I pulled the trigger, and he just, and it was just so special because everybody was there, and my dad and my mom and my Uncle Rabbit was right behind me, Bobby Whitlock, and I can tell you when you hear the winner's circle and you hear the PEI chant, who started it, and yeah, and it was it's a good story, and little homage to my Uncle Rabbit. Yeah, and like the Little Brown Jug, it's just such a, especially then, like, it's a shame, like, they still gets a great crowd, but I'll show you the overhead view. There was 52,000 people on track this day. 52,000 plus. Went through the gates. Yeah, in 2006. 52,000. I mean, put that in perspective. I mean, that's Taylor Swift was getting 70,000 people at MetLife. So, the 3 days last year, she averaged, I think, it was a little over 70,000 people. So over 52,000 for a horse race. It looked like something you would see in a NASCAR race or something, or a sporting events. It's to drive in front of that many people is incredible. Like, and to be the focal point of that many people, and to hear it all just come down on top of me after the race, I'll never forget it, because the Canadians were all down in the second turn. They had flags were flying, and so I went down in the second turn. A little whip pumped everybody, and it took my breath away. It felt like the ground was moving underneath me. It was so loud, and I'll never forget that feeling. I mean, I'll never know what it feels like, I guess, to win the Super Bowl, but Jesus, it's got to be something like that. I can't. It was unbelievable, and driving back to the winner's circle, and I almost ran over my buddy Mark McQuarrie. So excited. Came out to give me a fist bump, and it was incredible. And yeah, and I'm, like I said, I get into the winner's circle, and my Uncle Rabbit was there, and my dad, my mom, and just everybody. And it was just, you got to remember going into this, we didn't think we could win. It was just such a no pressure situation, and the way the world works, it's just flipped the script, and I got the rail in the second heat, and I'm the favorite. You know, in the first heat, I think the early betting on Mr. Feelgood, he was 99-1. And I mean, it was just such a casual, have fun and enjoy the moment. I've never raced in the jug, and then it turned into like I can actually win this thing. I can win with this horse twice in one day and win the Little Brown Jug. This horse was getting beat in Ontario Sires. And he was a good horse. He just struggled in the turns sometimes. But we're on a half-mile track. So in front of that many people, I mean, the jug still packs it in, but not like in the 50,000s like they were back then. And, you know, after COVID hurt and everything. But it's such a special race. The Little Brown Jug and the Gold Cup and Saucer are my two favorites. They always will be. North American Cup, Meadowlands Bay, those races are awesome, you know. But for me, to drive in, it's a Little Brown Jug in Delaware, Ohio. It's a county fair, and people just take so much pride in their stuff. And Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, the Gold Cup and Saucer. I mean, it's just, like I said, people just take so much pride in it. And it's, you know, I'm from Charlottetown, and I'm proud Islander, and
they travel from all over the world, literally.
Yeah, it's
to get there.
incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
Incredible. And, you know, hopefully I get to win another jug someday. I'm not done yet.
Total True North Hanover, Western Ace, the trailer, Dune Bag. They're all in behind the gate. The gate swings into the stretch. And here they come for the second heat of the Little Brown Jug. They're off and pacing. Armbro Deuce and George Brennan grab the racetrack. Racing second, Mr. Feel Good. Getting away third, it's Cactus Creek. From the second tier, Dune Bag gets away on the inside. Fourth, racing fifth, Texas Shootout. Armbro Dynamic sixth, followed by Total True North Hanover, trailing the field. Western Ace, opening quarter, 26 seconds. Into the turn they go. On top, George Brennan, Armbro Deuce showing the way. Mr. Feel Good right there second. Cactus Creek third. Racing fourth. Dune Bay tips to the outside, trying to get some cover. Moving on the outside. Western Ace and Total Truth. Inside Texas Shootout. True North Hanover. Passing it into the first time. On top of the field, it's Armbro Deuce. Halfway home, 54-3. 28-3. Second quarter. Racing to the backside. Mr. Feel Good second. Up on the outside. Here comes Armbro Dynamic. Cactus Creek is fourth. Total Truth fifth. Texas Shootout, True North Hanover. Western Ace treading the field. Down the backside is Dune Bay. Going to the three-quarter mark. Armbro Deuce. 3 quarters. 1:22. 27-2. Third quarter. Little more than 8 to go. Armbro Deuce with the lead on the outside. Here comes Mr. Feel Good. Cactus Creek comes to the outside. Mark McDonald takes the lead with Mr. Feel Good as they come down the stretch. Armbro Deuce, Cactus Creek on the outside. It's Mr. Feel Good. And Mark McDonald, 1:50-3. Little Brown Jug, 2006. The owners, along with Diversity Stable and Lindy Farms of Connecticut, Myron Bell.
On behalf of all the partners, I'm ecstatic for Jimmy's first pacing jug, first time he ever went in a jug, Mark's first jug, and Frank Antonacci's first jug. I'm happy for all the connections. Thank you.
A lot of first in this year's Excuse me, we got to make our way up here to Mark McDonald. Mark, as young as you are, this has to be the major thrill of your entire racing career.
Pinch me, Roger. I must be dreaming. It's unbelievable.
You are not dreaming. For the presentation of the ring, to the winning driver, Tom Thompson.
Mark, it gives me great pleasure to present you with this diamond ring and initiate you in one of the smallest fraternities in all of our sport. You're a winner of the Little Brown Jug. Now we'll get a ring sizer for you here.